Hey, what's going on? This is the Body Punch Podcast, and my name is Naz. Let's talk about the UFC Lightweight Division. After the blockbuster fight between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor, it leaves a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of things that we still need to figure out in this stacked division. We've talked about it before in previous podcasts, but the Shark Tank that the lightweight division is unprecedented. The stuff that we're seeing out of this lightweight division is incredible. And I'm going to go back to the point that I mentioned before. But Luke Thomas was having a conversation with Paul Felder. And in that conversation that he had with Paul, he mentioned how different this lightweight division stacks up. In this division, you look at 10 through 1. You see all of these amazing strikers. Now you'll have some people like Charles Oliveira in there, Justin Gaethje, who never uses his wrestling, Dustin Poirier, who we've seen use his wrestling, and the list goes on. You see a couple use their wrestling, but not anybody that focuses on it, like the champion of the division right now, Khabib Nurmagomedov. So Paul Felder was saying how interesting and different this division stacks up because you have to go through all of these amazing strikers, and then your gift, the UFC championship belt, is owned by the greatest wrestler in the UFC, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this podcast is because, like I said before, this division, because of the fights that we saw recently in Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, it leaves a lot that we still need to parse out. So I was looking through the lightweight division, and I thought we would start off before we try and figure it out and before we see what everybody's plan is in this division. I thought we would go through the list. Now, let's start at number 10. We got Diego Ferreira. Then at number 9, we have Paul Felder. Number 8, we have Dan Hooker, who just recently fought. Then we have at number 7, Rafael dos Anjos. Then at number 6, we have Conor McGregor. Number 5, we have Tony Ferguson. At number 4, we have Michael Chandler. Number 3, we have Charles Oliveira. Number 2, we have Justin Gaethje. And then number 1, the guy that just fought recently and beat Conor McGregor, is Dustin Poirier. And the person that has his championship belt, who I don't have to reiterate again to you guys, but is Khabib Nurmagomedov. The interesting part of this whole situation, albeit there's many interesting parts, is that we don't know if Khabib Nurmagomedov is coming back. We know that the fights that he saw didn't interest him. He said that the Michael Chandler win against Dan Hooker wasn't interesting to him. He said that the Dustin Poirier win over Conor McGregor was not interesting to him and was not a reason for him to come out of retirement. But there are rumors, and we did a podcast about this. Khabib Nurmagomedov is in talks and really wants to fight GSP. Now, there's a whole podcast about that you guys can listen to, where we discuss what happens if Khabib Nurmagomedov and George St-Pierre fight. We go into the intricacies of it. We base it all off of the Michael Bisping podcast that he had with George St-Pierre. Very interesting. I recommend going to listen to that podcast, the Michael Bisping one. Also, please listen to the Khabib Nurmagomedov and GSP podcast. But if Khabib does fight GSP, there's a couple of factors that go into that as well. Will that be at catchweight? Will that be in between that 165 division that everybody talks about, that 166, 165 division? Or will it be at 155? Now, GSP has said that he doesn't think he can make 155 again, but that might be some way to get Khabib Nurmagomedov to his true weight, which people speculate could be the 170 division. But like I said, that might be some sort of tactic to get the fight to happen. So Khabib Nurmagomedov is in this whole tangle over here. Does he come back? Does he go against his mother's wishes and fight again? And fight the man that his father believed was the greatest of all time, George St-Pierre. So we don't know where Khabib is in the whole situation. Let's talk about where Conor McGregor is at. Now, I just want to bring this up as well. I just wrote this in my notes. Conor McGregor puts out a post recently, and he talks about how he fought against Dustin Poirier. He believes that, in short, that he did very well. He just needed to get time in the cage and then use that opportunity to talk about some sort of spray that he used for his rehabilitation. I just think that a lot of people were looking at this and saying that he's not ready to come back. He's not mentally in there. I don't think so. I think that Conor McGregor always does this post-fight thought on his social media via Instagram or Twitter. And he always talks about what he thinks happens in the fight, win or loss. And, you know, if he's got a company like this is prime real estate, and he's just using it for that. I just want to think of it something like that. He just had his business mind, and he just used that prime real estate that we all know is going to happen after a Conor McGregor fight, where he talks about how he looked in the fight, and he used it to talk about the spray. So we all got to think about what we saw in there. Yes, he did get knocked out in the second round, but it looked like he was really into it. His physique looked like he was training for it. Mentally, we can't really tell. We just got to see him fight again, because he did use the excuse or the reasoning that he didn't have enough time in there. Which, I don't know, might be the reason why he wasn't able to do what he wanted to do in there. I don't believe in this whole stance thing, where he did mention in the post, he said that he was training for Manny Pacquiao and whatnot. But I think he and other people got to look at the fact that he's facing another southpaw. Many people have come out and talked about how this is the case. In my opinion, he looked the best against Eddie Alvarez, but that was with a right-handed fighter. When you face another southpaw like that, it's coming from different angles. Everything's coming from different kind of, again, angles. So I think that was a lot of the issue, and it might be just the evolution of his game. Now let's get back to the topic. The topic was how we see the lightweight division. And so the reason why I brought up Conor McGregor was the fact is that he wants Dustin Poirier again for the belt. So he gets Dustin Poirier, and then they do the rubber match for the belt. This means that Khabib Nurmagomedov is retired or fighting GSP in a catchweight fight. And then the way that I see the rest of the division playing out, if this scenario happens, is we see Charles Oliveira face Justin Gaethje, which is the number 2 versus the number 3. And then that person would fight the winner of Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. So then after that, where we see Michael Chandler is against Tony Ferguson. I think that Tony Ferguson fight, even though Tony Ferguson is ranked number 5 and Michael Chandler is ranked number 4, I still think that Tony Ferguson has a lot of name recognition. It could be an exciting fight for Michael Chandler. And Tony Ferguson would be excited to get someone a little bit higher than him, even though he's lost a couple of fights. A lot of people have thought that he's fallen off, but he's still Tony Ferguson. Even in this advanced stage, we still got that guy that's doing crazy stuff in the gym. So this might be the way, it might be a measuring stick, if you will. Then I see RDA versus Dan Hooker. Now, I think that that's going to be a good fight. They're really close. They're 7-8. I mean, Dan Hooker, even though he took off his gloves in the cage, he did talk about it with Submission Radio, I believe. That doesn't mean that he's retired. It was just in this situation. His mind just kind of flashed to it. And he also mentioned that a lot of other fighters and himself always think of that after a loss. It's a very tough situation that he was in. So this might be a way to give him a name, and it might be a fun fight, and it might be a great way to boost RDA or Dan Hooker. So there's another version that I see this lightweight division playing out. So I think that there might be a chance, might be a slight chance, because Dustin Poirier already mentioned that he's interested in the Conor fight that we just went through. So if that doesn't happen, another way I could see this lightweight division playing out is by Dustin automatically getting the belt. Again, Khabib either retires and rides off into the sunset, or he fights GSP at catchweight or at 170. So Dustin Poirier automatically gets the belt. And also, I would like to mention that he said that he doesn't want to fight Michael Chandler. He doesn't believe he deserves it. He doesn't think that Michael Chandler is the person who has put in his due in the UFC. I believe he's put in his due in MMA. It doesn't matter if it's Bellator or UFC. Obviously, some people see Bellator as number 2, but I like to see it as more of who you fought. I don't think it really matters on where you fought. I don't think it matters where you fought, but I think it matters who you fought. Michael Chandler has been doing it at the highest level for a very long time. So, if Dustin Poirier doesn't want to fight Michael Chandler, he gets the belt automatically. Everybody's mentioning Charles Oliveira getting that belt. Everybody's talking about him getting a chance. And I think this could give him the opportunity to get that chance. I see Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler facing each other. That'd be a fun fight, and it will determine the right person to fight for that belt after So that person would fight Dustin Poirier, the winner of that fight. And then I see Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor fighting. A lot of people think that Conor's not going to take that fight. It's a bad matchup for him. Tony Ferguson, known for that 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Obviously, it's going to be a tough fight for him. But Conor is at number 6. Tony's at number 5. That's still a step up for him. And it's a fight that Tony Ferguson wanted. Conor mentioned it a couple times in tweets. But it's a fight that could happen. I mean, it's going to be a fun fight. It might bring back the old Conor McGregor that everybody's talking about. It might bring back the person who's internally so confident that he'll say whatever he wants. Not saying that the Conor that we saw wasn't confident, but maybe this could be like a kind of an experiment. It could be kind of like an A/B test to see if the Conor McGregor that trash talks is better than the Conor McGregor that doesn't. I don't think it has that much effect on him. What we see is what we get, but it might be a good test to have. And also, why am I bringing up Conor McGregor at 155 when a lot of people are saying that he might fight Nate Diaz again? I think Nate Diaz clearly mentioned that he's staying at 170. Conor has clearly mentioned that he wants to do a season at 155. And it seems like the Manny Pacquiao fight for Conor McGregor is kind of gone at the moment. So that means where is he going to go? He's going to stay in the 155-pound division. Nate says that he wants to stay in the 170-pound division. Conor has also mentioned a couple times that he would like to do it at 170 again. But even Coach Kavanaugh, Conor McGregor's coach, says that it's got to be a 155. Conor McGregor's true weight, which everybody believes. So that's why I bring up Conor at 155. So then what do I see after that? I think that RDA's got to face Dan Hooker again. I just think that fight makes sense. Dan Hooker's number 8. RDA is number 7. RDA's last fight was against Paul Felder. And I believe, Dan Hooker, his third last fight was against Paul Felder as well. Both of them have wins over Paul Felder, who is a tough test. Super tough test. I mean, RDA fought him on a couple days' notice or something like that. I remember. Maybe it might have been a week. But everybody knows that Paul Felder, who sits at number 9 right now, is tough. And like I said, it might give a jump start to RDA or Dan Hooker's 155 career. So that's how I see all of these fights playing out. That's the 2 different scenarios that I see. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what scenarios you could come up with. I think this is like a Rubik's Cube or a jigsaw puzzle or something. There's a, more like a Rubik's Cube, but because jigsaw puzzle, you got to put it one way and one way only. But there's a lot of different ways that we could play with this. There's many different factors that go into it. Is Khabib leaving? Is he retiring? Is Dustin Poirier going to get the automatic belt? There's a lot of factors that go into this. Some people don't want to fight other people. We don't know the behind the scenes that goes on. Some of these fights might not be possible because some people don't want to fight the other person. So there's a lot of different scenarios. Let me know what you guys think. This is what I thought of because of the circumstances. So thank you for listening to this podcast. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. If you guys could subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube, that'd be really appreciated. And if you guys could listen on the different podcast networks and give a follow, that'd be amazing. This has been the Body Punch Podcast. My name is Naz. Bye.